You talk about what's happening with the news versus
right, the headlines.
The headlines in the news versus what's actually happening with the economy. I think you're going to see that there's a big dichotomy, I guess you could say. Matter of fact, the question that could be had out there based on the headline is, can you direct your trades based on the news headlines? I put a Google search in, Rocky, and basically the search was Trump tariffs, what was the first quarter like 2025? And this is what came up. The 5 top hits were almost identical when you think about what they're saying. Market notch worst quarter in years as new tariffs go into effect. What are they talking about? They're looking at the worst quarter in 2022. The second one with the Wall Street Journal, same thing. Stocks post worst quarter since 2022, and it just goes on. You kind of think maybe they got together and said, hey, what should we put in the headlines today? And then they all did it. But the interesting thing here that I find is when you think back to 2022, that really wasn't a great year when it comes to the market.
No.
Matter of fact, this chart here shows you that we started out at a high of 4,700 and dropped down to a low of 35. Yeah. It was over a 25% drop, and it didn't recover that year. Matter of fact, it didn't recover until the fourth quarter of 2023. When you look at these headlines, it kind of makes people think, wow, should I even be in the market if it's going to go down all the way this year like it did in 2022? Which, again, you don't want to be making decisions on news headlines because they're not always right. And I don't think they always have our best interest at heart, too, when they put these headlines out. I did another Google search, and this was just Trump and tariffs last quarter. And this is what came up. So we had NPR, the U.S. economy shrinks as Trump tariffs spark recession fears. Here's another one, NBC News. Stocks close at the worst quarter since 2022 amid tariffs uncertainty. And I'm telling you, that newscaster looks really stressed there. You look at the next one, Business Insider. Stocks cap worst quarter in 3 years as investors realize Trump is not in their corner. TNR, well, this one's kind of a tough one. America's really disliked Trump, but they're about to truly hate him. Okay. CNN Business, U.S. economy goes into reverse from Trump's abrupt policy shifts. Business Insider, America is on the verge of stagflation. How about the last one from the New York Times? Trade war sets off max pessimism in global markets as stocks plunge. If you look at what the headlines are saying, and all I did was look at that throughout the weeks, I think I'd be a little bit depressed right now, thinking that I probably should never be in the market again. What do you think, Rock?
I'd hate to be an individual investor without a coach. That's what I think.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We were not getting calls during this time, you know.